Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Alex and I make book and lifestyle and all different kinds of content, to be honest. Welcome in. I hope you're having a lovely day. Grab a cup of tea because we're talking books or coffee or matcha. We like all of them here. Or a glass of wine. Who knows, you might be watching this in the evening. I want a little tipple. Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I updated you on all my reads. Let us begin. So, I've got a little notepad here because I always seem to lose my train of thought. So, therefore, the notepad is going to help us stay on track. The very first book that I finished in March was The X-Files by Jessa Joyce. So, this is one that I've heard so many people talking about over the years. I think it's maybe a couple years old. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's a couple years old. The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. We're following Georgia and Eli, who are best friends, turned dating, turned exes. And we are following the lead up to their best friend's wedding. So Georgia, Eli, oh my god, I've forgotten his name. And their best friend, there's three of them. The best friends. The best friend, whose name I can't remember right now, is getting married, and Georgia and Eli are going to be very much around each other for the next period of time from the wedding weekend, the wedding week. So we are beginning in a very awkward scenario for both of them. Georgia has to go pick Eli up from the airport. She's dreading it, like she's panicking. Like, we're stressed, we're anxious for Georgia because this is like one of the first times that they're going to be spending extended time together since the breakup. And they've always kind of had this silent agreement that everything is going to be fine. Is Adam? When they're around Adam? Adam is the name that's coming to mind. I'm going to just have to bleep myself if I got it wrong. So every time they're around Adam, they've just got this silent agreement that nothing that happened in the past is going to affect our current friendship in this dynamic. So it's actually like quite a funny, interesting, angsty kind of read. They are fully grown adults, and I think that kind of makes the chemistry a little bit better because they're old enough to know better, do better, be kinder, all those kind of things. And we see how the past is interacting with their future and like the present time. We will get some like flashback moments. So I enjoyed this. I gave it a 3.5 star. I always do, like, I'm always not the highest rater when it comes to characters who have anxiety and things like that, and that's projected on the page, simply because I can have anxiety and feel anxiety relatively easily myself. So when I'm reading on that, like reading about that, it just doesn't hit the same because I don't want to be reading the thing that I might also be feeling. So I'm always a bit of like a low rater when it comes to characters actively talking about those kind of things, which is probably not very good. However, that is the way I like to read, and those are the things I do and don't like to read. So it kind of stresses me out a little bit when the characters are stressed out. if you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, some of the things in there were like a little bit too emotionally angsty for me. But I did quite like the chemistry between Georgia and Eli, and like, yeah, there was a bit of like a miscommunication kind of issue between the two of them. And you know from previous videos, or if you don't, hello, welcome. I don't like miscommunication tropes. It is one of my pet peeves when it comes to books. I just don't get on with them very well at all. So yeah, 3.5 stars. I don't think it was bad. I definitely think other people would probably enjoy this a lot more than I would. The writing style is good. It was a good time all the way around. Just 3.5 stars for me. I don't know if I'd read it again. The second book that I read and completed in March was Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. So this is my first trip into Kennedy's work. I hear a lot about Kennedy Ryan, and I've never actually completed or even delved into one of her works before. So Before I Let Go is the first place I started. Actually, do I tell a lie? I think I started like the first maybe like 5% of Long Shot, and I just wasn't clicking with it immediately, so I kind of put it down and I forgot to pick it back up. But yeah, Before I Let Go is my first completed read by Kennedy. So we're following Josiah and Yasmin, I think it's Yasmin. I don't think it's Yasmin. I'm saying Yasmin. They were married. They were then divorced. And now they are back to something more. I really enjoyed this. It's my first read in so long where I'm reading black characters written in like black American tone and language. Like they're like it sounds like as I'm reading it, I can hear their accents in my mind because they're from Atlanta. Like I can hear the accent, and it's the first time in so long that I've read a book like that. I'm pretty exclusively in like the science fiction, fantasy realm, so everyone kind of has a British accent when I read, and yeah, it's the first book in so long where I've heard like an Atlanta American accent as I'm reading, like in my brain. So it was really interesting, really fun. I gave this 3.5 stars. Again, I don't know if I'd read it again. It was good. It just wasn't great, amazing for me. I'm not shouting from the rooftops about it, but like it was a fun time, and I would definitely say if someone asked me should I read this, I'd say go ahead, try it, see if you like it. I think their love story is pretty good. I like the context and the struggles that they talk about for the reason they became divorced or got divorced. And all of that was like really touching and really emotional, and quite dark, but it was handled really well in the story. I really liked the way that the characters talked about it. I liked the way that they discussed how it impacted their family and things going forward from that point. It was tough emotionally in some stages, and I definitely think maybe you should check the trigger warnings for it, but it wasn't so dark and like so deep into the trauma and the past events that you couldn't get past it to like get into the romance of the story. So it really dealt very well with like the fine line. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It made me want to read the rest of the series, which was always a good thing when you are looking at a series of romances. If the first one doesn't hit, you're not usually likely to pick up the next ones. But this is good. The third book I finished in March was Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I gave this 4 stars. I really liked it. It's a dystopian sci-fi, and we follow Darrow, who is he's within the lowest caste of the system of the society that he is resident of. And he is a miner, and he's working in mines in township on Mars, and they are mining very precious gases, I believe. Thinking about it, oh, or is it no? They're mining for something. They're mining for something that is going to help create the atmosphere for the rest of Earth to be able to come and inhabit Mars. And we're following Darrow's story as some very traumatic things happen to him and his family, and he has to seek revenge. I don't want to say too much more than that because I feel like I'm going to accidentally say spoilers. And I really think you should go in blind to Red Rising if you can. I wouldn't even read the back cover because I had no idea. I just went off my best friend's recommendation about reading this series. I had no idea what it was actually about. I knew that it kind of existed on Mars. I didn't know anything more than that. And I'm very glad that I didn't. So if you haven't heard anything about Red Rising yet, and you are willing to go in blind to this story, I would recommend it. Again, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I love going in blind. I very often just go off someone's recommendation that I trust, and I don't even read the back cover. I just purchase and carry on. But yeah, this is a series where I would say, if you can, just open the first page and go from there and see what you think. I really enjoyed this. It's so intense. It is fast paced. It is emotional. It is intense. Yeah, I really, really liked it though. So that was Red Rising. 4th book, I've talked about this book for probably 2 years now. The Ministry of Time by Calliane Bradley. 4 stars. It's literary sci-fi, and we're following Commander Graham Gore and his bridge. I'm not going to talk about this too much because I've talked about it in so many other videos, because I've been trying and failing to read this book for months. But I finally finished it and I really, really enjoyed it. It was very, very nuanced. It was so cleverly written. Some of the sentences even bypassed me in my brain. Like, I just don't understand the significance of this sentence because it was just so well written and so literary, I probably would say. And yeah, it like, I would want to pick up this book when I had full focus and when I could digest and dissect the sentences, because so much was said in the subtext as well as what you're actually seeing in the plot. And there's so many different elements discussed in this book, from racism and classism to the way things are in society to the way things were. What's the difference between Graham's morality and what's the difference between our Bridges' morality and things like that. So, and then there's a whole like plot underneath that too. There's just so many elements going on to this book, and I really enjoyed it. I would definitely read this again. I think I would need some time, so a good amount of time, I think, between the first and my second read, but the ministry time was so good. I really enjoyed it. On to April. So in April, I read and finished 3 books. I definitely still had other books that I'm still currently reading. However, the books I finished, the first one was Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, so that's the second book in the Red Rising saga, 4.5 stars. I won't really discuss it too much because obviously it's a sequel, so I will spoil the first one if I talk too much about the second. But again, it was high octane, very intense. One thing I will say about the Red Rising series, no, I think that's going to spoil it. I'm not saying anything about the Red Rising series, but it's just super, super intense and it's pretty fast paced and there is always a lot going on. And this man is out to hurt you. That is what I will say about that. 4.5 stars, really enjoyed it. The next book I read in April was Morning Star. I could not put this series down. I was just like constantly flicking through. I think I spent one night where I don't think I slept until like 3 a.m. because I was so invested in this series. And April was a month where I had a lot of free time. So I was like deep into these books because they're quite chunky as well, like 400, 450, I think, pages. And it like every time you turn a page, you don't know you're guessing what is coming next. So this was 5 stars and it is the end of the first trilogy. So like so many things are climaxing in Morning Star and it's super, super, super like it grips you, it tears your heart out, it stomps on it and then it grips you again. I really enjoyed Morning Star. I would definitely recommend this sci-fi series. If you are a girl with a boyfriend who does not like to read, I would recommend the Red Rising series. I think it's gripping enough. I think it is not super based on romance enough. I think it is like political and scientific and the things that I think would draw men who don't read into reading to then get them to read other more fun stuff as well. I think this would be a good series for like a first time sci-fi read. It's pretty accessible and it's close enough to like Star Wars and not Star Trek. Like it's close enough to like a sciencey political wartime dystopian future that I think it could grip anyone, and especially men who don't like to read. This might be a good like entry point if you're looking for recommendations. So yeah, I think this would be really good. If you are someone who likes dystopian sci-fi stuff anyway, get onto Red Rising. I really enjoyed it. Third and final book I finished in April was In Her Own League by Liz Tomford. I think this is a new release in April. I gave it 3 stars. It's a sports romance and we're following Reese and Monty. I can't remember either of their last names, but they are characters we meet throughout the other books in this series by, I think it's called the Windy City series. I really enjoyed the whole series, so I've read the books kind of as they've come out. I think I read the first 3 books back to back because those had already released, and then I read the 4th and I think this is the 5th book as they were released. As a sports romance series, I think it's really strong. I really enjoyed all of it. I would probably definitely read most of those characters again, if not all of them. This one, 3 stars, like, not the best, not the worst. I think there's other books I prefer more in the series, but I quite liked Monty and Reese. I quite liked their dynamic, and I quite liked the storyline that we were following with them. So that was the last book I read in April. So total, we read 7 books completed. And then, obviously, as you know, if you've watched my other videos, and if you haven't, you will now know that I'm reading the Way of Kings. And I'm 450 pages into the Way of Kings. So any other book, that would have been finished by now. But as we know, Brando Sando loves a chunky book. And we love Brando Sando for it. So I am, about 450 pages into The Way of Kings. I've got it on audiobook, Kindle, and a physical book, so I can like keep reading whatever the scenario I'm in. I love it so far. I'm so excited to keep getting into it, but like, I'm 450 pages in and I know I haven't scratched the surface. That's crazy. But I love it so much, and I love Brando Sando's work so much. We are getting to know quite a few characters so much more, but like, I also know that we probably haven't even met the bulk of the characters yet. How crazy is that? 450 pages into the first book, we probably haven't even met everyone we're going to meet. There's a character that we haven't gone back to yet. Like, there's just so much going on. So yeah, I'm about, what's that, like a third? I think about a third of the way into this book, but I'm super excited to keep going. So yeah, really enjoying The Way of Kings. Anything else I'm reading now, I think, is going to be in my May video, so I will stop here. Thank you for watching my May and April wrap up. No, March and April wrap up. If any of those books interest you, let me know down in the comments, because I would love to chat to you a little bit more about them if you would so like. Let me know anything you think I should be reading in June, because we are in May now when you're watching this. So I've got my May reads already, but let me know the things you think I should be reading in June. I've got quite a few picks already, which we will talk about in another video. But let me know if there's anything you're like, Alex, you must have this on your June reading. Let me know. But I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.